So this is going to be my first how-to video. Just bear with me because I've never done one before. So I'm going to try to give you a little how-to video on how to change the lift ram seals on a 743 Bobcat, circa 1986 to 1996. I'm not quite sure what year it is. I bought it over the summer from a friend of mine. And the thing had been sitting in the shop for several years, 2 or 3 years, next to a salt pile. Hadn't been running, didn't know if it ran, didn't know if anything was wrong with it, had no idea what was going on with it. So I've never owned a Bobcat before, played around with them for a little bit, but I've definitely never worked on one before. So this is my first one. I went to his shop and started, just hitting everything with degreaser and trying to grease everything up, get all the salt off of it, and get it working again. And finally got it running, and it ran great. Hadn't had a problem with it. It's got a nice little diesel 4-cylinder in it. Ran awesome. Just changed the filters on it, changed the fluids, and I put air in the tires, and I've been running on the things for a couple months now and have not lost any air, and the thing's just been great. But I have noticed that recently I've been noticing drips of hydraulic fluid underneath this ram here. This is the bucket tilt ram, and what we're going to do today is we're going to change out the seals. Now, I kind of already cheated. I already had the thing out once. I already took it apart, and I already got the seal kit for it. So I just kind of threw it back together real quick so I can kind of show you how it comes apart, and then we're going to put it back together. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start the machine, and you're going to raise the boom up, however far you want to. I don't know. I'm 6'5", so I wanted to get up high enough. So this one doesn't have the ram lock on it. Some of them have that orange metal piece here that flips down and covers this ram here, and it prevents the boom from coming down. I didn't have that, so I just put a piece of 2x4 in there and then lowered the boom down to it and then cut power to the machine, and it's been holding it up since. I don't know if this is a live hydraulic system. In other words, I don't know if I was able to just raise this boom, shut the machine off, and disconnect those hoses, if this boom was going to drop down because the system would recirculate back through it. Like I said, I've never worked on these before, so I'm not sure how they work. So just to be safe, I lifted the boom and I put the 2x4 in there to hold it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is at the back, where are we now? At the back of the boom, there's a pin, and there's a bolt that runs through it. And on the end of the bolt, there's just a nut. You just pop that off. Now that pin will come loose, and you can just pop that through. The same thing on the front. There's a pin that runs through, and there's a bolt that runs through here and a nut on the other side. And then, it's got the Zerk fitting on this side. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull these pins. So hang on one second, I'll get these out. Alright, so I pulled the bolts out, and now release pressure, just put some weight up underneath this thing, and it should come right out. You might need to grab a hammer and something to push the pin out, but the pin's going to come out pretty nice and easy. And as you'll see, this one's got a grease fitting on the one end, and I don't know if you can see them right here or not, but there's these little tiny holes, one right there and one on the other side. Now what happens is when you put grease in here, it's going to fill up this tube and squish out this one, and it's going to give you the lubrication in that front pin up there. So I'm going to show you how to clean these out in a couple minutes, but let's go move on to the back one now. Hydraulic lines. There's going to be fluid in the system, so you want to have a bucket underneath it to catch it. I already have mine loose, so I'm just going to pop them out of the way real quick. The boom is pretty heavy, so you're going to want to put some weight underneath it to hold it up when you push this pin out. vent here right now, and what I did, this one is empty. So what I did was I put a bucket underneath this fitting here. Can't remember which one, this one or this one. Doesn't really, you'll understand what I mean when you push on this ram one time. I put a bucket underneath this ram. Oh, good, the heat turned off. So I put a bucket underneath this ram and then grabbed a hold of this and compressed this. As I compressed it, the fluid came out here and dumped into the bucket. So now the ram is empty. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take it apart. Okay, so I have the ram in the vise, and if you don't have a vise, I don't know, I guess you could probably take it apart on the front of the machine when you still have the back part in there. You could probably get in front of it here and crack this part loose while it's still in the machine, while you have something, leverage or whatever. So if you'll notice on the top of this one, it has these two holes. There's a special spanner wrench that goes in these two holes, and then you're supposed to be able to crack this loose. Well, as you can see, these holes are just absolutely just hammered right out. So either whoever took this apart last time didn't have the proper wrench, and then they just went to the punch and a hammer to get it out, or it was so on there that they had to resort to that anyway. So what I did was I grabbed a pair of channel locks, huge pair of channel locks, and grabbed a hold of this, and I was able to get it loose, you know, without really any resistance at all. So you can see I have it hand tight now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this off. I'm gonna show you what's inside here real quick. This piece is pretty heavy too, so you're going to want to support it when it comes out. I might need two hands for this, so I'm going to have to put this down for just a couple of seconds. Oh, and my battery's going dead on the camera, so I'm probably going to have to charge this and start off where I left off. So let's just go for a little bit longer here. Okay, this is loose. Let me put this down and I'll show you how this comes out. Pops out pretty easy. There's a little pressure behind it, but here's the O-ring that actually this is the new O-ring. I already put this one in, and it's fine. The old O-ring that came out of it was fine too. There's also a washer that goes actually on this side of the O-ring, goes you know, towards the outside. So it goes on this side and then the O-ring. Here's some. Looks like some sort of brass washer of some sort. Like I said, I've never taken this apart, so I have no idea what's going on in here. But that's not part of the part that I changed. The part that went wrong is actually inside here. You have this outer sweeper that goes along this part here and just keeps the dust out of it. And inside here, there's a seal that went bad. Let me show you real quick. It looks like this. And what happens is, this is actually on the inside of this, and fits around the inside. There's a machine groove on the inside of this, and this sits in there flush, and the oil is starting to seep past this seal here and then coming down here, and that's where I was getting the drips from. So this is actually the bad part that I want to change. But the kit that I bought, everything came with it. You get this, you get the outer dust seal brush, whatever you want to call it. That's the part that's right here. You have this washer here. This one's bad, but it's just supposed to help this one, you know, hold back a little more pressure. So I don't know if this is actually the part that went wrong or not, but anyways, I got a new one of these, and then this is the old O-ring. So you get these 4 pieces here. I bought it at my local bearing place for $14, I think it was, for the whole kit. There goes the heat again. Sorry about that. So anyways, at Bobcat, I believe, I have no idea actually how much they cost at Bobcat. I'm assuming it's probably a little bit more because it's a retail, but anyway, so these are the 4 parts that you're gonna need. And then now we're gonna take this apart to slide this off so that we can get on the inside of here. So I might have to make this for the next video though. So now we're gonna continue to try to make this into the first video. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna remove this nut here so that we can take this part off and then finally pop this part off to get to the inside. I don't have have the right size wrench to get on that. I'm sorry, people are probably going to crucify me for using this, but I'm going to go ahead and use a monkey wrench real quick here, a nice big pipe wrench. So get this on here, careful not to try to bang everything up. And just get this nut loose.